Hello, everybody. I am doing my project on conducting baseball umpiring clinics um, with the potential of expanding into other officialing realms. But first of all, I'm going to start off with baseball umpiring clinics because that is what I'm most familiar with. So the reason for my project is we have a problem in this state as well, throughout the country actually, where there is a very large shortage of high school officials. Um, I know like the WIA has a hard time finding officials on a regular basis. Area schools have a difficult time getting officials. Around 80% of all high school officials actually quit um, before they have completed their third year as an official. So there's a very high turnover rate. And the reason people quit is because of belligerent coaches, players, and parents. It's my belief that part of the reason why coaches and parents and players are hard on officials is because too many times officials don't know the true rules of the game or how to effectively manage a game. So it's my goal to teach people starting at age 12 on how to properly interpret the rules um, and how to effectively manage a game to keep the game as enjoyable at an enjoyable pace and to have a positive outcome regardless of what the scoreboard shows. Now I do have on there it's starting at age 12, but anybody can start at any age and being an official, and that is the goal of my clinic is kind of catering it to any age group, but I would like to start them young so they can build up their baseball knowledge and become more comfortable within um, uh, become be more comfortable as an umpire themselves. So some of the stakeholders here, area youth groups, like Shelby Youth Baseball, Boys and Girls Club, West Salem Youth Baseball, Onalaska Youth Baseball, Lacrosse Park and Rec, and Holman Youth Baseball. And I also did throw in there all Lacrosse County school districts. And I put that in there because of the ultimate goal is once they become 18 is for them to become WIA certified. Um, the program that I would be running would ultimately be kind of like an introductory to a WIA certification. Um, so they would be learning the basics of a WIA certified umpire, which would give them a great foundation to continually expand on their knowledge and when they're 18 become a WIA certified umpire. And by that time, it is my hope that they have a great foundation and are able to manage games effectively and without issue um, during the game. Now, that's not to say that they're not going to have issues because even myself, being a 20 plus year umpiring official, I do have issues from time to time with coaches or parents or players. They all see the game differently and interpret the rules differently. um, but giving them the skills to learn how to work through those difficult situations and what not to say and how to say it and is the ultimate goal here. All right, so here's my work breakdown structure. I don't want to have to do everything here as far as in the instruction part of it. So picking volunteers to be the instructors is super important to me. Um, I have a core group of umpires that I've grown to know and are very experienced. And some of the things that we'd have to look at is how in depth do we want to go. So we'd have to look at that, and we'd have to look at the availability of each umpire, and then we'd have to pick a site. So the sites can be kind of tricky to pick because a lot of times, you know, especially in the situation we're in now with COVID, I would really like to have an outdoor site where people can properly social distance. But then that creates some challenges in itself with the technology out there and actually having some presentations being played through. But ultimately, I like to have an outdoor site. I can kind of manage an outdoor site, um, because we do have a skills test where we will run through um, fundamentals of that stuff. So we'll get to that in a little bit here. So like the site cost, for example, if I had an indoor site, I was looking at picking the La Crosse Wellness Center right up of Highway 16. I know what the cost of that is. For their field house, they have a big field house facility that would be big enough to host um, the written presentation and the skills test, the fundamental skills test as well. So we'd have to look at the dates of availability there. Selecting the dates for availability would really come down to what dates the site has available, and then going off of that, then picking the volunteers for the instruction. Now we're going to be getting into the core group of this project. This is kind of where I had identified my critical path here. It's the interpretation part of it, developing the PowerPoint. How many slides do we want? Do we need a TV or projector? Same thing with the rules test and developing the skills presentation, fundamentals, need bases, develop the skills test. This is the stuff that this is the nuts and bolts of the presentation itself. And this is where it's going to get really, really important to understand how in depth do we want to go. This is what's going to take the most amount of time. There's going to be a lot of time spent on this area in particular. So some of the risks here, positive, too many people. That's always a good thing when you're coming into these types of scenarios. And then negatives, people don't like the class. People were confused after the class. Too much information, and of course, weather. Like I said, I'd like to have it outside, but that is ultimately out of my control. The nice thing is I can kind of look at the extended forecast and figure out whether or not it's going to be indoors or outdoors. And if we can have it outdoors, then I can have plenty of time to be able to cancel my reservation at the La Crosse Wellness Center. So that is my plan for this project. I did focus primarily on just the assignment part of it. I didn't do any projection as far as how it would play out. I have ran these in the past, and I haven't had any issues with them. I haven't ran it to this in depth. It's been kind of just basically like a 2-hour class with just a skills presentation and nothing really as far as rules interpretation. So I'm not real concerned about these risks really. And that basically concludes my presentation, my project. I thank you for your time and feedback, and everybody have a great evening.